Hello, good evening. Um, it is September 12, 2016, and I believe that the Novena Masses in honor of Our Lady of Peña Francia is on its second Novena day, and I wish I was there to celebrate with the whole Bicolanja, with pilgrims from all over the world to pay a visit and vigil to Our Lady of Peña Francia. But anyway, in the simple room that I am in, I try to meditate and say a little prayer to the Blessed Mother. And sana po lahat tayo masaya. May kalungkutan man sa mga puso ng bawat isa. Iba-iba yung problema. Iba-iba yung mga memorya na pilit gustong kalimutan yung in the past. The pains, the hurts, the losses, especially the loved ones na nasa kabilang buhay na. But what's important is that there is still God who loves us. And ako nga, mag-isa lang. And if I was in the convent, it's okay. Because you still have your community. But here, almost magto 2 years na po ako mag-isa. And then, mag-isa sa isang room. Whenever you find some people to talk with, biglang, they have a different kind of mindset. And then later on, you would just decide to be on your own. And sometimes naman, the jealousy and envy, people would do things and make up stories about you just because of those reasons, even if you haven't done anything bad to them. Or perhaps naman yung mga misinterpretations, misjudgments, when you say this, when you say that, when you do this and do that. Sometimes they thought that you have something against them, when what's in your mind and heart are just good intentions. But we cannot really force people, but in essence, a good relationship would have to last and be nurtured if you would be honest to each other, even if it would mean hurting each other with honesty in making comments, observations, or suggestions. So, ang hirap po magkaroon ng mga totoong tao who would really care for you, na hindi ka tatraydorin no matter what. And instead, if they would see something bad in you, they would just open it up to you and then suggest some points to improve in yourself. At ang pangit po that in my experience, I've already lost a lot of relationships just because of those. People would tend to go with those who would make them feel good, But little do they know na sa likod nito, may mga comments naman, kasi hindi po tayo lahat perfect. Iba-iba yung pagpalaki sa atin, iba-iba yung standard of living, iba-iba yung pinag-aralan, iba-iba yung kurso, iba-iba yung mga ugali, iba-iba yung mga characteristics. But what's one thing that could really would really remind us of is that may isang God po tayo, 'di ba? Tapos isa lang naman yung turo niya. And by that lang naman siguro, dun lang in that language of love, 'di ba? Yung dalawang kautusan ng mahal na Diyos, na mahalin siya ng buong buo, sa isip, sa salita at sa gawa, ng ating puso, ng ating kaluluwa at ng ating lakas, at mahalin yung kapwa natin kagaya ng pagmamahal niya sa atin. Yung dalawang alintuntunin lang po na yun, madali nang sabihin natin kahit iba-iba yung mga pinaggalingan natin, iba-iba yung estado sa buhay, may mayaman, may pobre, or may middle income na mga tao. What's important is that we keep those in mind, and everything would follow. Whatever field we're in, whatever age, color, race, religion, Dapat po yun lang yung hindi naaalis yung respeto, yung pagmamahal, at yung, the dialogue. Kahit magkaiba tayo, we have to come up with a dialogue. What's this? What's that? What's the reason for you saying this? What's the reason for you for doing this? And otherwise, hindi naman tama yung sasabihin na lang na ganito, yung nakasanayan ko. What if nakasanayan mong magdroga? 'Di ba? Nakasanayan mong mag-aagaw. Nakasanayan mong magnakaw. It doesn't mean na tama yun. 'Di ba? You step on other people's rights and privileges while sometimes you do not focus on the obligations that you should be doing, saying, or thinking. Kaya I don't really see the point, karamihan ng mga tao. No? It's very convenient and easy to say that this is my freedom. This is who I am. But little do we know na yung freedom natin stops where the freedom of others begins. Diba? For example, if someone is smoking, that someone is opting to smoke, okay? Even if they know that there would be negative effects on their health. So if they're like smoking with someone else, they are right to choose to smoke despite its consequences, despite the fact that it would bring harm to their bodies. Stops where the nose of your companion begins, or where the nose of your companions is. Kasi based on studies, it is more apparent and more possible and feasible that passive smokers are the ones who gets to be harmed more than the active smoker, the smoker himself or herself. Dami na po nangyari niyan. And for example na po niyan si Archbishop Leonardo Legaspi, when he has a companion advisor na pari na talagang chain smoker. I was able to see him na ganun talaga siya. When there's conferences, he doesn't really mind if you are inside an air-conditioned room. He would just smoke and smoke and smoke. And ganun po yung nangyari dun sa Archbishop namin sa Cáceres. Even if he was not a smoker, he was inflicted with cancer of the lungs brought about by being a passive smoker, always exposed to someone who is smoking. Air-conditioned room pa naman, there's no exhaust fan, hindi makalabas yung smoke. So yun po yung point natin dito, na sometimes it's so abused yung word na ito yung buhay ko, this is my choice, this is what I want. Pero hindi naman natin nakikita na meron ding rights yung iba. Meron ding gusto yung iba. And batas po yung kailangan tingnan. But beyond batas nga is love. The rule and law of love. Kasi kung may love, kahit gusto mo to, ayaw ng katabi mo, or ayaw ng kasama mo sa bahay, or sa boarding house, you would adjust, diba? Hindi mo naman siguro ikakamatay kung i-adjust mo yung something just to have a common understanding and meeting of mind na okay ito. This would not harm you, nor would it harm me. Something's like that po. Magulo yung mundo because people just abuse the freedom and free will that's given to all of us. Masaya sana yung mundo if, yun na nga, if we are responsible enough to think na though we have our own privileges, freedom and free will, meron din yung iba. So, especially, we're talking about leaders of the state and the church. Compared to ordinary people, hindi po pwedeng sasabihin lamang ng someone in authority, in position, that this is my life, this is what I want. No. Especially if you are a priest, it is called scandal. Kung simpleng, fornication or what do you call this, adultery, masama na sa society natin. it's like 10 times if we are able to witness kung priest ito, religious, people serving and visible always in the church. Kasi you're supposed to be the one closer to God. You're expected to be the one who knows more. You're expected to be the one who would be praying enough. And by prayer, mind you, we have this, what we call infused knowledge, wherein even if a person has not read anything, has not read the Bible at all, it is God who gives the person wisdom and infused knowledge about things, about Him, and the truth in the life that we have. So, yung mga taong yun po yung tinatawag nating mystic, or they live an ascetical life, wherein they really meditate on God with the cleanliness of heart and purity of intention. Nararating po nila yung level wherein they would really wait for God to be the one to speak to them, not only praying, hingi lang kay God, wala namang problema yun, but yung pinaka-highest level po ng meditation is that when a person already would wait for the answer or for whatever messages that God would give us. So sometimes these people, you would wonder why they could speak this way. They're not priests. They did not even go to seminaries, and some are even pagans and uneducated people. Stories of saints would clearly remind us na ganun po. Saint Faustina Kowalska, for example, if madami siyang sinabi that came from God, when in fact, ang alam ko is no read, no write po siya. Pumasok siya ng convent, only reaching, I think, the age elementary level. And maraming santo po na gano'n, na when they're being used by God, they could do extraordinary things na dun nasasabi na they're being used by God as instruments. So, yung ordinary self nila would be, wala silang alam, hindi marunong magsalita, hindi marunong magsulat. But with the grace of God, with the gift from God, yun, nasasabi nila yung mga katotohanan about the Lord God. And nasusulat nila in accordance to the obedience, to the will of God, in obedience to His will. So, ganun po. He could even use sinners, yung walang alam, yung mangmang. And one example of a pagan is San Juan Diego. Imagine, hindi nga siya katoliko pero God chose him to be the one to relay the message to the bishop that the Blessed Mother is appearing to him to give message to the Mexican people that a reparation must be made because of the abortions that were not only abortions but the offering of babies to their pagan idol God. Yung mga ginagad nila na pagans, they offer the lives of babies thinking that it pleases God, and they regard God yung mga idols nila. So, malaking kasalanan po yung kay God, murder yun, as well as yung mga abortion. So, in reparation for it, so that Mexico will be saved, and yung mga kasalanan na ginawa doon ng mga Mexicans will be repaired, nagpakita si Mama Mary, yun, sa isang pagan by the name of Juan Diego. Pagan as he is, he became a saint for obeying God, for obeying the Blessed Mother. Hindi niya nga kilala si Mama Mary. Kaya yun ang naging utos ng bishop the next time that he asked and required Juan Diego, or Saint Juan Diego, to ask the lady who she is. And then, so in the next time that he encountered the Blessed Mother, yun, nagbigay pa ng proof si Our Lady of Guadalupe kay Juan Diego na siya talaga yung nag-appear, and so that the bishop would believe him na it was the Blessed Mother who appeared when he was asked by the Blessed Mother to pick up roses by the hill of Tapayak, na kung iisipin po, it's a winter time. Yun pa lang, miracle na po. Supposed to be there shouldn't be any flower blooming by that time in that area, kasi it's winter time, the type na winter na wala naman pong snow, pero it's so cold, the temperature is so low that it could not afford na may mag-bloom ng roses or any flowers for that matter in that season. And then when it was placed in his tilma, na tinay niya around his neck para gawing parang bag, to bag off the flowers. When he showed it to the bishop, suddenly there is the image of Our Lady of Guadalupe to tell the bishop that it is me, the Blessed Mother, who is speaking to you, at ni-require niya na magkaroon ng simbahan doon. And history would tell itself that ang kailangan natin is reparation prayers, because si God yung na-offend natin with this anti-life movement or actions that we have, whether po kasi Catholic tayo or not. Kaya yung pag-appear ni Mama Mary, it's still the mercy of God. They want to tell us that reparation should be made, that people around there should be converted to Catholic Christianity, na alamin yung kagustuhan ng Diyos, ano yung objective ng buhay natin. And there. So, until now, nandun po yung nagkaroon po ng simbahan sa Mexico, kung saan nandun yung miraculous and mysterious tilma, kung saan nakapaint si Blessed Mother, Our Lady of Guadalupe. And because it is miraculous and mysteriously given to us, it came from heaven. It came from heaven. Scientific studies were conducted, and nakita nila na hindi talaga matatagpuan hindi matatagpuan here on earth yung mga ginamit na materials for it. And to think na more than 100 of years na yung picture, yung tilma, but still it has been preserved, parang bago daw. Yun ang description dun sa nabasa kong book. And then one description is that yung eyes ni Blessed Mother has an intricate figure there of Saint Juan Diego kneeling before her, na hindi siya ordinary. If ordinary painting would do it, hindi daw. So yun ang isang evidence that it came from heaven, by the grace of God. It's really a miracle. And Saint Juan Diego was converted and became a holy Catholic and became a saint. And isang miracle din po doon was that one time Saint Juan Diego was trying to avoid the Blessed Mother. Parang siguro parang napagod siya na hindi naman maniwala yung bishop with the message that he relayed, no? And at the same time, he was worried about an uncle na may sakit. So it was like he was telling himself, hindi ko na lang kasi they had an agreement with the Blessed Mother, him and the Blessed Mother, na magkikita sila doon. So what Saint Juan Diego did was that he chose another path, para thinking that the Blessed Mother would not see him Blessed Mother pa, no? So he appeared there kung saan siya lumiko, no, avoiding the original spot where they used to see each other and talk with each other to relay the message to the bishop. So, tinawag niya si Juan Diego, and malambing si Mama Mary when he was trying to call Juan Diego. And she was like, Chiquito, Juanito, calling him names na normally we would call to kids, no, nickname of kids, no, kasi yung original name was Juan Diego. So the Blessed Mother was like making lambing, Chiquito, Juanito, I'm here, something like that. And he was surprised. Nahiya siya, tsaka nagulat. Imagine. Kasi as a pagan, hindi niya naman agad-agad naintindihan na si Blessed Mother is heavenly, spiritual, kahit saan pwedeng sumulpot, and it's actually an apparition. So there, he told din Mama Mary that kasi yung uncle ko is may sakit, so I have to visit him, something like that and like this. But the Blessed Mother assured him that without him going there, right at that moment, the Blessed Mother said that right now, your uncle is being healed. And so you obey what I'm saying, your problem is solved. And true enough, when he met his uncle, he was totally healed. At ganun po yung nangyari. Ang cute-cute po for me ng story ng Our Lady of Guadalupe in Mexico. Hindi ko talaga siya makalimutan kasi basta the first time I encountered the image was that when I tried to adore at the convent of the Divine Mercy ng Franciscan Sisters of the Immaculate Suore Francescane Immaculate in Alabang Hills. When I went there, I happened to get one novena, yung they're giving it for sample for free. Ang ganda-ganda po ng pagkakagawa. It really came from Mexico, I believe. I'm sorry, I lost it. I lost a lot of things na naiwanan ko sa bahay. But anyway, I was really trying to look at the picture, the Blessed Mother with that aquatic blue yung damit niya and the eyes. Ang ganda-ganda. I was really attracted, and then binasa ko lang yung novena. There was a little story account that's written there sa likod. But when I went inside the convent, I was able to really read the book. Nagkaroon nga ako ng book din nun, which I do not know anymore where it is now. Yung book na yun was full of picture, glossy po yung pages niya, and there I was able to read na mabilisan lang, not really reading from cover to cover, yung essence of story. And I really found it so cute that the Blessed Mother is loving talaga. Na imagine, she could come up with those Chiquito, Juanito, na yun yung makakatikel talaga sa heart ng tao, even if matatanda na. There should always be a child in us because we are children of God. We could never say na matanda na ako, ganito, ganyan. No. God is pleased with us when at heart, we still depend on Him at all times. Yan po, yung story of Our Lady of Guadalupe. And I was so happy na yun po yung parang partner natin sa Divine Mercy devotion to Jesus, the Divine Mercy, yung Our Lady of Guadalupe. When the visionary, yung namatay po na si Villavicencio, nag-appear din po sa kanya na si Blessed Mother under the title of Our Lady of Guadalupe was one thing na dadalhin niya rin along yung image niya, Our Lady of Guadalupe, as he also promotes the image of Jesus, the Divine Mercy.